Hello and welcome, my name is Drew Walker, your self-proclaimed king of the nerds, my beard is soft and fluffy, and this is NERDAPEDIA. To start off, we begin in 1969. That's right, the same year as the moon landing. AT&T programmer Ken Thompson developed a video game called Space Travel for the Multics OS. The game features a spacecraft which you could attempt to land on various objects in the solar system. After AT&T pulled out of the Multics project, Thompson then ported his game onto the Fortran code, which ran on the Geckos. However, runs on this computer cost about $75 per hour, so Thompson tried to find a smaller, less expensive computer to run on. He found an underused PDB-7, which he and Dennis Ritchie then ported to its assembly language. While developing for the machine, Thompson and Ritchie developed the Unix operating system, which with space travel was the first Unix application. Yeah, bitch. Unix. In September 1971, Galaxy Game was installed at a student union at Stanford University. Based on Space War, this was the first coin-operated game, making it the first ever arcade game. Only one was built, however, and in 1972 it was expanded to be able to handle 4 to 8 consoles. Also in 1971, Ted Dabney and Nolan Bushnell created a coin-operated version of Space War, which they called Computer Space. Nutting Associates then bought the game and developed 1,500 copies of the machine and released them in November of 1971. The game was unsuccessful due to its steep learning curve, but was a landmark as the first mass-produced video game and the first offered for commercial sale, thus beginning what many would consider to be a staple of nerd culture in being a nerd. Although I say you wouldn't have to play video games to be a nerd, but hey, that's just me. And I am your self-proclaimed king, and my word is law. Bushnell and Dabney went on to found Atari Inc. in 1972, where they created the next game, Pong. Pong was the first video game with widespread success. If you're not really familiar with Pong, it was basically sort of like table tennis. The ball was served from the middle of the court and then you had to move your paddle up and down to hit it back to your opponent. Atari sold over 19,000 units of Pong in its lifetime, creating many imitators. Another significant game was Gunfight, an on-foot multi-directional shooter developed by Tomohiro Nishikado and released by Taito in 1975. It depicted game characters, game violence, and human-to-human combat. The original Japanese version was based on discrete logic, which Dave Nutting adapted for Midway's American release on the Intel 8080, thus making it the first ever video game to run with a microprocessor. This later inspired original creator Nishikado to use a microprocessor in his 1978 hit Space Invaders, to which many credit as the most influential video game of all time. The first home console was developed by Ralph Baird and his associates. Development began in 1966 and was completed by 1968 for demonstration to various licensees, including GE, Sylvania, RCA, Philco, Sears, with Magnavox eventually buying out the license. The system was released in the USA by 1972 and it was called the Magnavox Odyssey. The Odyssey used cartridges that mainly consisted of switches inside the cartridges that turned on or off, which changed the circuit logic, as opposed to the later video game cartridges which used programmable circuitry. Philips bought Magnavox and released a different game in Europe using the Odyssey brand in 1974. Magnavox Odyssey, I salute you. You are the most overlooked video games console of all time, and without you I wouldn't be able to play any of the games that I love today. Well, that's it for the pre-game era. Be sure to tune in next time for the retro gaming era and the video game crash of 1977. Thanks for watching, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and always support the official release.